It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 22nd. Happy Monday. The highway to hell. Let's hope that's not an omen. Let's hope that's not the indicator for where we're all headed.
Well,
unless,
I don't know.
Of course, hell's a bar at the end of a street or something.
Yes, exactly.
It is wonderful to be here on a Monday morning. And I say that because I wasn't here last Monday and I was sick as a dog. And now I'm just back. I'm bouncing around. I got a ping pong ball vibe to me today. This is pretty exciting. I'm still feeling very honeymoonish about my better health as we speak right now. But most importantly, as it is the top of the show, how about the top 5 and 6? The top things you need to know to power up your day. Number 5. I don't know anything that's more important than this. The USA Today has named the top fast food joints in America. A 1 through 10 ranking of the top 10 fast food joints. And number 1 is Del Taco.
Wow.
That's number 1?
I don't know.
Del Taco fans stuff that ballot box, I'm sure.
Man.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a good Del Taco burrito. They have a plain burrito there. It's just meat, onions, and cheese. Yes, please.
That'll work.
They just get it done. Their meat's very tasty.
600 locations in 18 states, mostly out west.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been to a Del Taco, but now I'm going to have to make
Have you been to Taco Bell or Taco John's? Then you've been to a Del Taco.
Oh, boy. That's fighting words now. The Taco Bell lifer in me wants to know. But you know what? We'll get back to that. Number 4 on the top 5 and 6. According to Forbes magazine, Bruce Springsteen is now a billionaire.
Yeah.
They're saying he's worth $1.1 billion, to which I'm going, what? First of all, I don't think he just crossed the line. He sold his catalog a couple years ago for $500 million. I think he was already sitting on $500 million by then. The guy's been headlining stadiums for 40 years.
The voice of the working man.
Pretty much.
The blue-collar schlub out there. Sleeveless flannels. That's Bruce.
He's sold more than 1.6 million concert tickets over the last few years. 140 albums worldwide minimum. The funniest thing about these reports from Forbes, they say Paul McCartney, Bono, Taylor Swift. These are all billionaires. You know who else is a billionaire? All kinds of people who don't let you know where their money is. I promise you, off the top of my head, you're telling me Roger Waters and Jimmy Page, the guys responsible for the biggest albums of the 70s and all time, you don't think they're on that list, but they just got their money hidden.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, I guess so. Just keep it all in castles.
That's it, as well it should be.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the top 5 and 6, Joe Mauer. What a weekend. Yesterday, Joe Mauer inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, got in on his first ballot, which is outstanding. National coverage, not baseball writers, but just sports people generally, I saw on Twitter, really getting their arms around the local legend. The one team, one life, all in Minnesota. That's something everybody here knows.
Yeah.
That's kind of gets lost in the ether, but yesterday that was a real talking point. I noticed on social media, everybody basically going, this is a movie. This guy had the dream career.
Oh, he just did.
The dream life and the dream career. And it was great to see a lot of people figuring that out.
Well, we have a few more minutes. We'll get into a little more audio from his speech. I know a lot of people saw it. Maybe you just want to catch some highlights. And Justin Morneau, his buddy, the M&M brothers there, did a wonderful lead into that, where I actually learned a couple more stats about Joe Mauer's dream life that I didn't know. But we'll get into that a little bit later on this morning.
Number 2 on the top 5 and 6, Delta is still trying to get everybody out of here. We still have a lot of passengers just hanging around at MSP.
Beautiful weekend to hang around.
Boy, wasn't it? I saw one guy on Twitter said he's noticed he called them refugee camps. There's just groups of people all sort of huddled up together. They find a corner of the floor and they all watch each other's bags while they take naps. They're trading off.
It's one of the nicer airports to be stuck at. I think you've got a lot of great food options out there. The shopping's not bad.
I can assure you there are worse airports to spend 3 days. I guarantee you that. The outage on Friday caused by the Microsoft update. Apparently, by middle of this week, they say everything will be back to normal, which means they'll be spending the next 3 months trying to get people to stop bitching at them online. 3,500 flights since Friday. Delta has dropped. Oh boy, that's a lot of people going to a lot of places. And finally, the number one thing on our top 5 at 6. Hey, maybe you've been under a rock the last 24 hours. President Joe Biden will not be running for re-election. He dropped out officially yesterday. He is endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris, and now we've got ourselves quite a story to follow over the next 4 months.
They're trying to keep us interested in this election.
They certainly are.
And maybe you've been under a rock for the last 24 months. I like that. The only thing that caught me off guard this weekend was that it was shocking. This shocking revelation that President Biden seems to be losing his mental faculties. No, you just thought you could get him over the finish line and then pitch it to Harris. But now they've got themselves a little bit of a... But it's interesting, isn't it?
You wonder what would have happened if they didn't debate. I mean, that's what sent him into the dissent.
Yeah, if those presidents didn't have to get up and be presidential, damn it.
The debate that he demanded.
Yeah, right.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, because, there wasn't anything that happened in the debate that hasn't happened in the last year and a half. But then the gig was up. Then it was like, dang it, son of a gun. We couldn't prop him up for one more debate anyway.
And there you have it. We've got a heck of a show today. What are we giving away today? We got tickets to see something cool, I'm sure, a little later in the day. Stray Cats tickets at $7.50. And something tells me we're going to have a couple of listeners trying to beat the clock. Yeah, we're already getting stressed about that. Let's go back. Let's finish off that top 10 fast food restaurant list. I've got some questions. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Neil Young rocking in the free world. Thanks to Pancho Sampredo. That was the guitarist in Crazy Horse for years and years and years. Neil Young and Crazy Horse in the late 80s were supposed to go over to the Soviet Union on a cultural exchange thing. They were going to go play some gigs. And the promoter from Russia who put it all together just basically fleeced the government for some money and disappeared. So the gig was canceled. And when they found out, Pancho looked at Neil and goes, well, I guess we'll just have to keep on rocking in the free world. Literally. And Neil went, hey, that's pretty good, man. And the next day he wrote himself a standard, as they call it. I mean, it's not exactly White Christmas, but it's a standard in the rock world.
Yeah, I don't know. I never tune away. I'm always cranking it for that one.
It works for me to this day. I did see Neil perform that song once. I think might have been on SNL. He did it with Pearl Jam. And Eddie Vedder was singing it, and that baritone didn't really do the job for me. It was I was like, no, Ed, not that one.
But the conviction, it was there.
There it was. There was the passion. I have been passionately stuffing my gullet with fast food my whole life. Less lately, and it's not just like a Minnesota thing, but just in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I guess really, what it kicked off was the pandemic when I just didn't eat out for a while. When I got back out into some sort of a flow, I wasn't hitting fast food as much as I once had been.
Yeah.
In fact, very rarely, which is probably a good thing. I mean, I'm pushing 60. There's no reason to really be chasing the fast food dragon as I once was.
Yeah, for me it was really they just started delivering better food.
Yeah, right.
Now Uber and fast food, and they'll go get something a little bit, And when I say better, I mean just more expensive.
But
which I guess I associate that with more nutritious. Well, it's more expensive. It's got to be better for you, but I still love me some fast food 2-3 times a week.
The USA Today has listed the top 10. This is a USA Today readers voted top 10 fast food joints. Number one, as we already mentioned, Del Taco came in on top of the list.
I think it just might have tipped. You must have had more votes out west on this thing. Maybe
I think so.
Maybe out there in California land or something like that.
I'm just going to say that's a bit of an anomaly only because it is in 18 states. But like you said, but hey, passion leads the day. Number 2 on the list. And as a Kentuckian, this is staggering to me. KFC.
Yeah. Started in Utah, didn't it?
Did KFC?
I think the first KFC was in Utah, somebody told me.
I know this. When I moved to Kentucky as a kid, I had never seen KFC, like freestanding Kentucky Fried Chickens. KFC was something as a kid, and when I was a kid in Baltimore, it was at another restaurant. It would be like so-and-so featuring Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah. And when we got to Kentucky and saw they had their own stores, we were very impressed. Wow.
Yeah.
I've been to the KFC headquarters in Louisville. Big giant pillar. It looks like Tara from Gone with the Wind, as you might expect. Yeah,
I would like to go to the fatherland. Here it is, history of KFC. Sanders, the Colonel, identified the potential of a restaurant franchising, and the first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise opened in Salt Lake City, Utah in 1952.
Wow.
I know, I didn't
nice
see that.
job, Harlan.
I just saw a sign out there once. I'm like, no way. You went from frickin' Kentucky to SLC, but... yeah, I love me some KFC. Still do. Original,
by the way, I do know this. 1952, he was not a young man. He was born in 1890. So he was already 62 years old when he opened that bad boy.
Right.
Saw the Colonel at a parking lot in Elizabethtown, Kentucky in 1979.
That's amazing.
On a school soccer trip. The limo pulled up and the stinking Colonel got out of the back of a limo. And we flocked to him like it was Elvis Presley.
Oh, I've met Robert Plant, and the Colonel would leapfrog him as far as my brush of fame. That's the one I'd bring up first.
Number 3 on the list, top 10 restaurants don't go on Sunday. Chick-fil-A. That checks out. Chick-fil-A's consistency is really the thing.
Consistency, and they're just well run. Yeah, I see and they've elevated it too, because a lot of these other fast food joints have said, oh yeah, we'll step up and give you the Chick-fil-A service. But yeah, they just get the job done, and I'm sorry, it's just a damn good piece of chicken.
It is.
I'm not sorry.
Well, like they say, we didn't invent the chicken sandwich, we just perfected it. Number 4, In-N-Out Burger. California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and soon Tennessee.
Yeah,
they'll be opening In-N-Outs in the Nashville area soon, which is, but you know what? If they say they're coming, it takes years because they have to get their own cattle and their own potatoes. They do everything in house.
I understand.
It's true.
Yes.
Like they bought a bunch of cattle, and there's a farm in Tennessee, and they're like, in 6 years we'll finally be able to open an In-N-Out. I mean, I think part of the reason people love them so much is that they're just it's healthier than a lot of other fast food stuff, and there's this whole secret menu.
Right.
You got to know if you can order a million things. The menu only has like 6 items, but there's all this stuff that you just, if you know, I think it just gets people kind of into like we're all in a gang or something.
They keep the potatoes out there so that you can see them. You can see right there behind the counter. Even sometimes look through the drive-through window. The whole potatoes. Yeah, it's not French fry frozen in a bag somewhere.
That's it. Nothing's ever frozen.
Or the brown chuck is out there on the counter, and they're smashing the burgers as opposed to the pink slime.
No freezers, and no can openers. That's the thing. That's a couple of the lines they won't cross. By the way, hot tip: if you're getting it in and out, ask for the fries well done. Trust me.
Okay,
you want them well done.
All right, I might have that happen today.
Number 5 on the list: Hardee's. Can't remember the last time I went to a Hardee's.
First of all, every weekend. Excuse me, it's one of those weekends I overdid it just the right amount with everything. But every weekend, I go for the Frisco breakfast sandwich. There's 2 of them right up 169. Really? I hit one. I get a Frisco breakfast sandwich there, drive to the next one, get my second one, and then on the way home, stop and get 2 more for later to microwave. Best breakfast sandwich in town.
Wow.
Why do you go to a different one to get another one?
It's my Saturday morning routine. I'm just out sightseeing. I want to see Zimmerman and whatever else. What now or what then? What's the town up there?
It's Hardee's. Hardeeville.
Hardeeville. There is a Hardeeville. It's just that down in South Carolina, I believe.
Number 6, Captain D's. Wow, a great little seafood place.
What's Captain D's?
I think that's the Hooters spinoff, isn't it?
Oh, you don't know? Really?
No, really have no idea
it's
what
It's
Captain
like
D's
Long
is.
John Silver's fish and chips.
Oh, all right.
But the Hush Puppies is a big thing. Captain D's was the first fast food restaurant ever that I know of, and this was true in my small town in Kentucky in the 70s. They served beer.
What?
Well,
you could go to Captain D's, get your fish and chips dinner with Hush Puppies and fries, and get a draft beer. It was really weird. Yeah.
And they don't do that 3-2 beer stuff. This is like real beer.
It was beer.
Right?
It was real beer.
You've got writer's attention.
Yeah.
Captain D's, a great little seafood place. The song's still in my head forever. Just like Long John Silver's, both Captain D's and Long John Silver's, Don Gorman approved. He was like,
all right.
These fish and chips. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So we had a lot of that. Okay, Taco Bell number 7.
Bravo.
No need to. We don't need to say anything. It's the staple. It's everything.
Burritos.
I'd have it a lot higher than number 7 myself.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Number 8, Popeyes. I condone that.
I do. I don't get to Popeyes because I'm a KFC guy, but if I'm in the neighborhood, I'm not going to drive past one.
I'm a big fan. Number 9, Zaxby's. Chicken.
Yeah.
Zaxby's is a chicken joint.
Yeah.
The name alone is troubling.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's good. My kid, Connell Gorman's a chicken enthusiast, kind of an obsessive, actually.
Yeah.
And he big Zaxby's guy. There's one item there that he'll go for every time. And then number 10 on the list, Arby's.
Whoa! Don't count them out.
Don't count them out, especially that new line of sandwiches, new to me. I just discovered. My mom is a fan of the Reuben.
Oh, I've had the Reuben from Arby's.
It's pretty good,
before,
man.
You know?
I was driving to see her a couple of years ago, and she said, "Oh, honey, on your way in, stop at Arby's and get me one of those Reubens." And I thought, what a weird sentence. Stop at Arby's and get me a Reuben. And
curly fries.
Damn, if that wasn't a great sandwich.
They brought back the potato cakes. I didn't know they were gone.
Right,
but,
absolutely.
Man, so there you have it. By the way, interesting. Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, nowhere near the top of this list right now.
Ooh.
Shocking to me. The staples, a little bit of a shakeup. But anyway, next time I see a Del Taco, in honor of today's conversation, by God, I'm going in and I'm getting that beef burrito you recommended.
They've got a little thing there with it's deep fried cream cheese with like raspberry sauce in it. I'm just saying, throwing that out there.
The more you know what I'm saying? How about this? Let's look back. On this day in 1991, I'm going to go ahead and call this a sports story. A woman from Lone Pine, California, up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Her name is Kari Castle. She's 31 years old, and she had recently discovered a passion for hang gliding.
Okay.
Had a slow start to her career, was terrified at first, and it was one of those things. She just decided, I'm going to face this fear, and I'm going to become a hang glider, and she was still getting the hang of it when she caught repeated gusts of hot, light air.
Uh-oh.
And she took off in Lone Pine, California, and she landed 210 miles away, 8 hours and 20 minutes later.
Oh, that was fun for a minute.
8 hours and 20 minutes of spinning on a hang glider. She reached a height at one point of 16,000 feet.
And this was her inaugural flight?
It wasn't her. No,
okay,
not her
she'd been out a
inaugural
couple
flight,
of times,
but she
right.
was still getting the hang of it, as they say. 16,000 feet. Let me tell you something. That's some thin air, especially when your heart is racing like hers surely was.
Let's get a little chilly up there. Of course, she was getting that warm, lofty air that kept pushing her up there. That'd be a long day.
She landed, and by the way, 1991, so she doesn't have a cell phone in her pocket. She lands 210 miles away. It's like that scene in Top Gun Maverick. You crash land, and you're like, hey, can I use your phone? She woke up, and it was 1951, just like Tom Cruise in that movie. I'll never understand that, by the way.
Big movie reviews, the latest news on rock stars, celebrities, and world-class athletes, and plenty of juicy love nuggets, too. We're heading west for Mike Evans' Hollywood Report on the KQ Morning Show.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We start off with a lot of show business. Twisters, the movie, did a whopping $81 million domestic weekend at the box office. $81 million. And exit polls of people leaving the theater after watching the movie gave it a 98% positive recommendation, said they would recommend it to other people. So look for another big weekend next weekend for Twisters, despite the Olympics drop on Friday. Katy Perry said her career was damaged by staying 1 year too long as an American Idol judge. However, Katy Perry's new single is so bad, very, very few stations are even playing it. She has also turned her career over to songwriter-producer Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke, great guy, has worked with Bon Jovi, Kelly Clarkson, Pink, even Katy Perry, but that was a long time ago. Concert promoters say there's no interest in the Katy Perry concert tour. She's also been trying to get a Kim Kardashian-type TV show, but that's not happening. And her 8-year relationship with Orlando Bloom who she shares a child, and they are not married, also appears to be on the rocks. Not good news for Katy Perry. Meanwhile, Pink will be replacing Katy Perry on American Idol. You know, I've never been a fan of Disney's treatment of their employees, and here's just another reason why. Happy to report 99% of Disneyland, California Disney Adventure, Downtown Disney, and other park employees have called for a strike vote against Disney. Now, these people include custodians and ride operators, park characters, candy makers, merchandising clerks, and other workers. Bet on it. There will be a strike called against Disney, and Disney's finally going to have to pay their employees what they should have been paying them for a long time. And since we last spoke, one of my favorite comedians, Bob Newhart, 94 years old, died. One of my favorite Bob Newhart routines was one Bob did 50 years ago when he was interviewing the first man to go to Mars, who said, Mars women are very different from Earth women because Mars women's breasts were on their backs. Asked if that was a good thing, the man said, well, it's more fun when you're slow dancing. Hey, it was funny enough for me. Have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
The Mike Evans Hollywood Report, weekdays on the KQ Morning Show. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Monday, July the 22nd. That was Wind of Change by Scorpions. Of course, a song written by Klaus Meine and the CIA.
No,
maybe.
Well,
there's rumors flying.
I like the story. Anytime the CIA can step up and try and topple a country or bring down a wall with rock and roll, go for it. That seems like a better go-to option than, missiles.
That song was released just after the fall of the Berlin Wall. And, the song's about togetherness. It's about the children of tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. There is an entire podcast, in fact, called Wind of Change. But the story that has bounced around D.C. for literally 34 years now is if the CIA didn't help write it, they certainly got behind it and promoted it and made a huge effort to have that song be a hit throughout Eastern Europe. As the Iron Curtain was falling, they thought it could play a large part into, hearts and minds, if you will.
Hey, whatever gets the job done.
There's a book called Chatter. It came out in 2005, and it's about the NSA and the gradual infiltration of Western music into the Soviet Union and how it was not really by chance. A lot of it was planned. But the Moscow officials were they wanted to bring a rock and roll band over in the 70s. And the United States said, why don't we send the Beach Boys? And the Soviet Union said, no, that is too loud and it's too passionate. And they don't like all the lyrics about cars and girls.
I guess the Stones are out.
Yes.
No Van Halen for you?
By the way, they went with, they did accept the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Okay, my God. Even they knew you can't let too much real rock and roll in. No rock and roll, no fast food. We got them both in there. The wall came tumbling down.
It's just a matter of time, really. We just waited them out and let the rock do its work. I have seen a couple now in town, Tesla Cybertrucks. Have you seen one?
God, all over. I wouldn't say all over the place, but we did a little traveling over the 4th, saw 2 or 3, and then, 2 or 3 rolling around the metro.
Well, you don't miss it. But that's what it is.
No.
Like, if one is within a few hundred yards of you, you will notice it as it's rolling down the highway or in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I said earlier, I tried to throw my recycling into one. It looked like a dumpster. But because the first time I saw one, it was actually parked right next to a dumpster.
Yeah.
And I just looked over, and then I did a double take, like, oh, wait, that's one of those cars. I just thought it was like 3 dumpsters. It was 2 in a Cybertruck. So you get reactions. If you're driving one, you're buying that truck because you want people to notice you. You want people to look at you, and you want to be driving something very different. But, boy, you're paying a pretty penny. These things are, 6-figure vehicles that people are driving around in.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to order them in advance. And they've had a lot of recalls, a lot of problems. But one of the things that Tesla says is their glass is shatter resistant.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice, and the old rock chips and the cracks.
Yep,
That's
except for when it isn't. And a guy in Ohio found out just last week in a town called Bellbrook, Ohio, a dude has a brand new Tesla truck, and he is using it to operate his ice cream business, which he calls Cyber Cream Dayton. So it's basically, it's a local good humor guy, but he's in a Cybertruck.
Hey, listen, I love the small entrepreneur, but kids, let's go get some cyber cream.
It's a little weird.
Sounds like something I need after a long weekend.
Or for a super rash.
It's a virus, Tony. It's one of them damn computer viruses. I need some cyber cream.
What do you want, a push-up, strawberry shortcake? No, I'll just take a super rash pop. But the guy named Daniel Harris, that's his business. It's called Cyber Cream Dayton. He was in his house the other day, and his Ring video camera captured some noises. It sounded like somebody was breaking glass. He looks out, and there's a woman in his driveway, and she's just going to town on all of the windows of his Cybertruck.
Here's what that sounded like.
There were two kids in the back seat, and they were both crying. They, just witnessed something really bizarre and strange happen. You just never think something like that's going to happen until it actually does. I feel really sorry for the children, and we just really wish the best for everyone. We want everyone to come out okay on this.
That was Dad. That was Dan right there. I guess he left the kids out there with the cyber cream.
It was a woman smashing the windows of his car. She pulled up to his driveway, hopped out, leaving her two kids in the backseat of her car.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and smashing the windows on Cyber Cream's Tesla truck.
Okay.
She was picked up and arrested within a few minutes. She's from Indiana, a 29-year-old woman. Before that arrest, she had actually been to a neighbor's home on the same street, and she was knocking over two propane tanks that were on that property.
Okay, so the kids were in her car. I'm just catching up with the story here.
Yeah, the kids were in her car.
So Mom's going out on a smashing spree. Come on, kids, let's go. I've got to do a little venting. This is all your father's fault. I'm sure it was in there somewhere.
Apparently. I don't know what. She's from Indiana. This is happening in Ohio. But Dan, the guy we just heard, who seems to be an incredibly understanding fella, he said within 30 seconds his business is torpedoed. The windows did shatter. He is now not going to be selling ice cream for the rest of the summer. And he has stressed to the police, I don't want to file charges. She's obviously got bigger problems than this. Really?
I'm throwing the book at her, Dan. I guess I don't even have to hold her accountable. I want to go back to the part where the business it's a window, first of all. I mean, that sucks when it happens.
It's all the windows.
All right. Well, you get that's insured, isn't it? Is it not? Well, I know auto glass a lot of times is not insured, but I think on the big Tesla here, they said they're unbreakable. They're not destructive. You got to replace those suckers. Come on, Tesla.
Hell hath no
Shatter
fury.
resistance.
Tesla glass hath no fury. Like a what's that expression?
Yeah, no kidding. Pissed off. Well, they're shatter resistant unless you come across a pissed off mom.
It's nice. He said, "I feel bad for her kids." The woman's clearly going through something. Well. But boy, I just gotta wonder if we're not going to get a little more information down the road. I see someone smashing out the windows in my vehicle in the driveway. I can feel bad for what they're going through. I can feel bad for the kids, but I'm sorry. I would expect something in return.
Yeah. And also, you mentioned from the get-go, anyone buying one of these right now, it's a status thing. Those guys trying to sell ice cream, so he makes maybe it's a business investment, and people will want my cyber cream. Bad business ideas come down the pike all the time. However, this is what happens when you draw attention to yourself. She had all those cars on that street to smash the windows out of, and who got all the attention?
It's almost like, it's kind of like trying to sell ice cream out of a Hummer. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a mixed message. Eat this ice cream.
Listen, I don't ever really badmouth anything anyone wants to drive. Sometimes we drive things we have to drive economically. Other times, there's no accounting for taste. Whatever gets you on down the road, I'm all groovy with that. But I thought the same thing about these Cybertrucks that I thought about the Humvees when they first came out. Because I had a chance to ride around in a Humvee, the military sort. And I thought, well, this is good in case we ever run over an IED or somebody starts shooting at us and our RPG comes, I feel pretty good in this thing. It never occurred to me I'd want to drive around, city streets in something with such poor visibility and just this big, huge clunker. But people have been digging them.
Oh, man, we're out of eggs. Take the Hummer to the store, would you?
Hey, you know what? You can go over curbs, over other people's cars, maybe, if you want to. But I get it. Why not? You drive whatever you want to drive. But, yeah, if you're going to draw attention to yourself, you might invite a psycho to come beat your windows out.
The first time I was in a Hummer, I think I've actually been in one. It was in 1990 in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, okay, this is just it was so much bigger than I realized.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm in the passenger seat, the guy driving and we could fully extend our arms towards each other and touch fingertips. And I just thought, this is too wide. This is too. We're both over 6 feet tall, and we have to really try to touch. We couldn't give each other a high five.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that wide. I mean, just think about the distance between the two seats.
You know what? A Hummer comes in handy. When you're 16 years old, you're named Tony Lee. You just get your driver's license, and you're trying to give yourself and 15 of your friends a ride. All he had was a Galaxy or something like that.
Don't
Galaxy
exaggerate.
500.
It was only 11 of his friends.
That was 12.
Oh, it was 12. Oh, it was you plus 12.
The Baker's dozen.
Yes.
I thought it was you plus 11. I'm sorry, I undersold your efforts there.
There was room for one more.
Yeah, think how many you could have gotten that Humvee. You could have got your whole damn class in there.
As far as stories I will never tire of hearing, this is at the top of the list. And I have to ask again, was anyone in the trunk or no?
No, nobody in the trunk.
12. You
Didn't
had 13.
think of that. Damn it.
You had 12 friends in a car.
Yeah.
Driving down the road.
Yeah, it was a tight squeeze.
How many?
was a tight squeeze.
How many in the front seat?
Oh,
Up
God,
front.
I don't know.
4 or 5.
I was just trying to...
There was some
7 or 8 in the
inappropriate
back.
touching in there.
So much inappropriate.
Yeah, it blocked my
touching.
vision, obviously, or I would have seen the cop.
Man, the best part of this story is of all the things that officer saw in his career, he's still telling this story too.
And they just kept getting out.
That's
one
what I mean.
after
It's
another.
like a Ringling Brothers clown car. Just how many people could possibly fit in one Gran Torino or whatever it was?
It was a Galaxy 500.
Galaxy 500.
Dad was not happy because he didn't find out until I got to the little hearing where they tell you have to go what we used to call dummy school.
Yeah.
And you heard about the speeding ticket, and then he mentioned all the people in the car, and my dad's face just went white. Harold Lee did not know about the extra baggage.
I had no idea you could get that many people safely buckled into a Galaxy 500.
I would love, the best part would be if we write this into the movie, the judge has to say, and Tony Lee, also in the car that day was Brian Zipp, Steve Gorman, like the Harris triplets. You just have to, there has to be a set of triplets in there. You don't even get their first names. That's my favorite story ever. Better in a certain sense, better than driving with 12 of your closest friends the day you get your driver's license. Like I said, I'll never tire of that story. A New Hampshire man, check this out. A New Hampshire gentleman on a motorcycle clocked doing 158 miles per hour.
Ooh, that's unsafe.
This is not on the Autobahn, which is a road that is literally paved safely for this sort of material. This is just some highway, and it could very well be, it was in fact I-95.
Okay.
I have experience with I-95 in the Northeast Corridor, as they call it. It's a pothole that occasionally has pavement.
Oh, you don't want to be hitting. Of course, you're going to glide over anything like that at 158, but you don't want to hit anything. You have to, just think about, if you don't ride motorcycle much, think about you've got 2 tires there that are rounded. They're not flat like a car tire. They're rounded, so you have literally a 1/4 of an inch of rubber on the ground. And once you start going 158, that front tire will come off the ground, off the pavement, the
Real
asphalt
easily.
there, just so slowly. It just raises up. That's what it does. It's aerodynamic. You got all that push to the rear wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually turn that handlebar at about 120, just a little bit if you really want to unnerve yourself. 158. Oh,
158.
Anything you hit,
The trooper, or as they say in New Hampshire, the trooper decided it was not safe to pursue, so he called in a helicopter. Chopper gets up, finds the kid right away, follows him for a while. He goes back up again a little later to 144, clocked from the chopper. eventually pulls into a gas station, didn't notice there's a helicopter over my shoulder for these last 40 miles.
Yeah.
He was arrested. And here's the one part that's not surprising. It's a 21-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's you've got that third testicle when you're 21.
That's
for sure.
exactly right.
Working against you.
Charged with disobeying an officer, reckless driving, unregistered vehicle. That's just insult to injury.
Well.
Unsafe lane change. Now they're just looking for stuff. Resisting arrest. Reckless conduct with a deadly weapon. I guess the motorcycle is itself a deadly weapon.
Oh, come on.
And failure to display plates.
All right. Well, you want to plea bargain that plate thing off, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
He's in some trouble, but I'm glad he's okay.
Drop the unsafe lane change, and I'll plead out to the rest of it. Jeez. Speaking of the Autobahn, in Europe, a lot of cars in Europe might be fitted soon. There's new AI technology that will limit the speed you are driving for you. If it is aware of the speed limit, as things are now, GPS knows what the speed limit. I mean, hell, when I you put it in your Waze app, if you're using GPS, it knows the speed limit wherever you go. It'll just say, because I see that little knob and it's always red because I'm always going above the speed limit. Intelligent Speed Assistance, ISA is what they call it. ISA systems became a legal requirement for certain motors across the EU. That's the European Union. And now they're saying GPS data, onboard cameras, all these things that assess your speed in real time as you're going will start to slow you down against your will if it notices you're speeding.
Yeah, I'm going to need one of those little cyber geeks to unlock my vehicle for me now so I can go speeding around Europe. Well, that's Europe. I'm not even sure why they still sell vehicles over there. Just go all in on the public transportation. You're set up for it. It works. But don't try that crap over here.
This is going to be one very pregnant woman away from everybody realizing this was a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
I'm trying to get her to the hospital, and my car is slowing itself down. Not a good idea.
Just had a buddy out there in Montana. Talked to him on Saturday. Everything's okay, but his brother opened his leg up with a saw. And he was going 110 miles an hour into the hospital. Actually called into the highway patrol out there in Montana to let him know he was doing 110 on the way to the hospital. Please don't stop me because my brother's bleeding out. Thought he might have got his carotid artery.
Oh,
but
God, yeah.
Turns out it just messed up the seats really bad, and his brother's going to be okay.
That is good. That's
but he
good
did,
news.
He called ahead for the cops. I thought that's some thinking on the spot right there.
It's pretty
but,
good.
Yeah, what happens if you're in Europe? I guess good luck to your brother.
Yeah.
Tighten that tourniquet.
That's exactly it. Hey, Slash, guitarist of note. Saul Hudson, Slash himself, celebrates his blues, his new album, Orgy of the Damned. And he's also got something going on called the Serpent Festival Tour. And you can win a trip for two to Nashville, where you will attend an exclusive Slash soundcheck experience, plus take home an autographed Gibson guitar and his new album. Text the national keyword Slash to 95819 to enter for a chance to win. If you, like pretty much everybody I know, if you're getting a little overrun with the Kelce Brothers, if you think, okay, when are their 15 minutes up, they may have just come back in to your good graces. We'll explain. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 22nd. I don't eat a lot of cereal anymore, but boy, I hung up the belt. I retired on top of the world. I put down cereal for decades.
Yeah.
I grew up in a big cereal house, just boxes of cereals at the Gorman house. And in fact, we had so much. We'd come down in the morning, and what we would do is we would take every box of cereal out and put them all on the table.
Yes.
And then we would sit down, and then everybody would take 3 or 4 boxes and surround yourself like your fort, like where you were sitting with your bowl.
Cereal fort.
Cereal fort. So you'd have like your own little private dining area at the table, and you'd see there'd be the three youngest boys, the three of us, and we'd all be surrounded, and we'd look over each other and look around, but the boxes were your, it's like a moat.
Yeah, and you had all those mazes and nutritional information to study and diagrams and all sorts of fun things to solve in your cereal fort.
And
did you ever mix?
Well, yeah, damn straight we did. And in fact, that's the reason I'm discussing cereal right now. The Kelce Brothers, Travis and Jason Kelce, who, as I mentioned earlier, okay, guys, seriously, enough already.
Right.
First of all, Travis, great career. You're an offensive lineman. I mean, I can only care so much. I mean, Jason, the Taylor Swift thing, whatever. But yeah, the guy's caught touchdowns in the Super Bowl. I'm going to get a little more excited about that guy. But anyway, Travis and Jason Kelce have teamed up with General Mills for their own cereal.
All right.
It's going to be.
I like the local tie-in here. At least we've got somebody on our team. You couldn't do this with Vikings, really?
They're calling it Kelce Mix. First of all, let's just stop right there. Kelce Mix?
That's no fun.
How about Kelce Crunch?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. You can do a little bit more with Kelce.
Kelce Crunch.
Crazy Kelce Crunch. Anything.
Yeah. Crispy Kelce.
But you can't call it. I was going to say, I almost said call it Crazy Kelce Crunch, and then it'd be KKK. The way I was thinking in my head, probably not a good idea for cereal. But here's the deal: Kelce Mix is not a new flavor of cereal. It is, to your question, Tony, it's a mixture of their 3 favorite cereals in one box.
All right.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms,
love it,
solid,
and Reese's Puffs. No. I say no.
I say
it's a little messy.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't thrill me. You know, back in the old stoner days when it was 10 guys living in a house and 25 boxes of cereal, and you already forgot which box was your box. But anyway, they'd all get down to dangerously low. Then you would start mixing the boxes, and we all had our cereal slam. You know, the 3, and it was generally 3. I get it, slam is 4, but the cereal slam, and that would be the 3 boxes of cereal that you like to mix together. And I always thought peanut butter Captain Crunch, Count Chocula, and then actually I would go with the Lucky Charms, but only the marshmallows. There was a process there.
Nice
mix. Yeah, if I could just get the marshmallows out, mostly marshmallows, that was my go-to. That was a winner right there.
Man, we would do the mixing, like you said. You know, you find yourself with a whole bunch of boxes, just a little bit left. You want to get that combo.
Yeah.
We would have at the Gorman household. You'd have every type of Captain Crunch represented. You had the Crunch Berries, the original Captain Crunch, and then you had Peanut Butter Crunch.
Right.
There was a while there. Do you remember Nilla Crunch? The
Yes,
white whale,
I liked Nilla Crunch.
flavored
I
crunch.
might have missed that one.
Yeah, we used to rock the Nilla. The Nilla was the mixing one. It was. No one ever had a whole bowl of Nilla Crunch. It was almost like we put it there as a mixer,
kind of a filler.
You just added that to other things. But there were, but the peanut butter crunch, and then there was Jean Lafitte's cinnamon crunch. Remember, man, those were all pretty standard there.
Yeah.
There were a few more that came along after my time. There was a cotton candy crunch. Never wanted to mess with that.
No.
But we used to also love to combine. The big mix was Quisp and Quake.
Same thing.
It was the exact same thing, but it's shaped differently.
Different shapes.
But and I never wanted to admit it was the same thing. And then every now and again you'd have Captain. Then we'd have the fight over Captain Crunch is better than King Vitamin. No, it's not. King Vitamin.
Same thing.
Have breakfast with the king. It tasted
King
exactly
Vitamin.
like Captain Crunch, except a little denser. I think there was a little more density to each piece of King Vitamin.
Maybe a harder crunch.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I think it was. I used to like to go with, but I would mix the fruits, Fruity Pebbles, and Trix together just for the visual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was always pretty good.
Do you remember
for me.
Kaboom?
I
hell
remember
yeah,
Kaboom.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the cereal, though. I just remember Kaboom. I don't think that one made it to the table.
You couldn't get more sugary.
Yeah, all right.
Kaboom.
Super loaded. But that was the Kaboom, right? The big sugar high?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there was Sugar Smacks, Honey Smacks. They changed the name. I think they thought honey sounded healthier.
Super Sugar Crisps.
Super Sugar.
Then it became
'cause everything-
Golden Crisp.
Can't get enough Super Sugar Crisp.
Yeah. Oh, and it started putting honey in everything. That was my mom, this is healthy, honeycomb. By the way, the honeycomb kid lived with him for years. Dave Oslin was the honeycomb kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they did that. They did that shoot locally right here in Minnesota.
Honeycomb's got a big bite.
You know, with the big gap between his tooth and the bucket hat on.
You knew the honeycomb kid.
I know the honeycomb kid. He lives in Edina now, Dave. He's a respectable adult. Yeah, exactly. He would hate it because I kept a box of honeycomb in the house we lived in South Minneapolis.
Yeah, you did.
And whenever we had a party, oh, yeah. Hey, guess who this is? And I'd hold it up next to his face, and they'd look at his face. They'd look at the box and go, oh, my God, you're the freaking honeycomb kid.
I bet he had a lot of cavities.
Second only to Mikey from Life, probably, in terms of famous serial killers.
Right there. He didn't get the TV spot, right? But he had the cover of an iconic box for a long time.
We were a big fan of the Freakies. Remember that?
I remember the Freakies.
We are the Freakies, and this is the Freakies tree. Yeah, the Freakies. They were like little hippie gnome characters.
See, there for a while there in the scarecrow years for farming, for small farmers in South Dakota. Rain on the scarecrow, blood on the plow. For the farm aid years, we had to switch over to generic. So we had the generic bag stuff,
Yep.
So it didn't. I don't even think they had names. It was just like chocolate puffs or something like that.
Yeah, it would just be, sure it would, yeah. The Freakies theme song, I remember specifically. We are the Freakies, we are the Freakies, and this is the Freakies tree. And then the guy goes, we never miss a meal because we love our cereal.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the Freakies was
Is that where they got the Warriors thing from?
Really. We never miss a meal because we love our cereal.
You're a professional musician trying to duke it out back there in the 70s, but you got to take some side gigs. You got to pay the bills,
Sure.
And that's what you recorded today. Hey, how'd it go today?
Yeah.
You're down at the jazz club later that night.
Yeah, right.
Recorded the Freakies commercial.
There's not enough dissonant notes to be played to wash that palate clean of your Freakies gig from the afternoon.
I love it.
The mixing of the cereals always a big one. There was mixing foods in general. Like, it led to anything else in the house. Like, the first time, because I started making, at some point, you do your first can of soup and you feel like, I was like 7 and I'm like heating up a can of Campbell's soup.
I'm
now
cooking.
I know how to make food. This is great. And then I remember I was making I had vegetable beef soup and I had it in the can. And my dad comes by and he just goes, I tell you what I always do is soup. And he just takes a huge swipe of butter and just puts it in there.
Yeah, it must have been a dad thing. My dad would do that too. Butter in the soup.
Yeah, it was like, no. And of course I ate it. I was like, yeah, it's way better, Dad. And I'm just like trying not to hurl the whole time.
Brody, this isn't the Depression anymore. We don't have to put butter in our soup.
Yeah, my dad used to he would fill a bowl. He wouldn't eat cereal, like our sweetened breakfast cereals. That's children's food.
Yep.
But I watched him on several occasions fill a bowl with saltine crackers and pour milk on it and eat that. Oh, that's a Depression meal.
My cousin, which makes perfect sense to me now, but at the time was the grossest thing I'd ever witnessed, and she would take saltines and dip them in her Hershey's chocolate.
That's
not so bad.
Remember, we used to get the cans of it.
Yeah.
You'd open it up just like a soup can, and you'd have the whole Hershey's chocolate in there for your ice cream. Yeah, now the salty and sweet, it looked good, but at the time it was revolutionary. We didn't understand it. She lived in Philadelphia. She'd come visit us in South Dakota, and we're like, that's what they do in the cities. That's one of those city girls with the saltines.
Wait till you see a Rubik's Cube. You rube.
All right.
Food quirks. On the Facebook page, we asked, what's your weird food quirk? There's some good ones here.
You have a very loose definition of good.
Well, that's very true. Well, here's one interesting.
We're in morning radio. We have to.
Paula posted, and then a bunch of people followed up with the agreement. I love pickles out of the jar, but don't you dare put them in my sandwich or burger. Just the pickles. And then also on that one, the peanut butter and pickle sandwich.
Yes, I had peanut butter and pickle sandwich. Fabulous.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I watched you eat a peanut butter and pickle cheeseburger last year.
Up in Brainerd. At the Blue...
oyster.
Blue Oyster.
Yeah,
it was peanut butter and pickles.
Yeah, peanut butter and pickles on a burger.
Cheeseburger.
It was dreamy.
Yeah, you were pretty excited about it.
Yeah,
Some people can do that.
Thinking about it right now.
Yeah, I'm very strict with my peanut butter, plain or jelly. That's it. Yeah, I don't vary it. I don't put it on the burger. I don't see it, but a lot of people dig it. It's on menus.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if the Blue Oysters, it's good enough for their menu.
Got a couple of people who've posted similarly. Kevin wrote, I eat one thing at a time. Following Gerald wrote, I prefer eating one food at a time. Finish the main course, then the side, then some yogurt, then dessert.
All right. Nothing uptight about that, fellas.
You
don't look at all high maintenance on your first date doing that.
I'm the guy who will spend 4 minutes trying to get a little bit of everything onto one bite on the fork. I'm the exact opposite. I just want all the flavors together. Like every meal to me is like your Thanksgiving leftovers meal. Just put it all, just get it all in there.
I used to make leftover sandwiches, and there would be potatoes in there. There would be gravy. There would be stuffing. There would be some turkey, cranberries. Let's get it on the top. Let's smash it down between two pieces of bread. Marine chili with chow mein noodles on top. They stay crunchy, and the cheese and sour cream stick to them.
Okay.
I'm not going to reject that out of hand. Not at all.
No? All right.
That's like the Cincinnati chili always comes with spaghetti noodles.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they rock
my
that.
mom, back east, Pennsylvania Dutch, that's how they did it over there. Your chili was chili because you put beans in it, and it was spaghetti because you put, spaghetti with it. Mm-hmm. All right, here's one. You guys didn't mind the chili with chow mein noodles on top. How about Greg's? We're on the KQ Facebook page, by the way. You want to make a contribution, weird food combos. Greg goes with apple onion sandwich.
No.
Apple onion?
Yeah, apple onion.
No.
Easy, Greg.
Yeah.
Easy.
My mom said this was often lunch during the 1930s because they had, what do we have? Apples and onions and bread. Okay.
Yeah.
Serve them up. 2 slices of buttered bread, sliced sweet apples, sliced mild onion, and salt and pepper. All right. Sweet and salty.
See, that's trigger warning for me because as a kid, I started making my own school lunches in 2nd grade. Up until that point, it was the responsibility of my 2 older brothers. David, Douglas, you make Steven's lunch. And so they would do that. And then they decided they had enough of it. I went to school one day and I opened up my lunch bag completely unsuspecting. And what was in there was a sandwich, 2 pieces of white bread, a thick slice of an orange with a thick slice of an onion. And the orange still had the rind on it, the peel.
Of course it did.
And I was like, what in the hell is this? And so that was like, okay, I guess I'm going to start making my own lunch now.
They laughed all day, but especially when it got to lunchtime.
On the KQ Talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK, someone texted in chunky peanut butter and a hot dog.
All right, well, there you go. Tony,
I like them both.
That.
I don't know that I can...
Do you have the other condiments on the hot dog, or is it just the chunky peanut butter?
He just said chunky peanut butter.
Oh, you can't go with like mustard and chunky peanut butter, can you?
Well, I don't know. If you go with cottage cheese and gravy, then,
okay.
all bets are off.
Cottage cheese and gravy?
This text is going to do me in. Lay's potato chips crushed up in a bowl with milk or ketchup.
Milk, maybe.
All right. Thank God it wasn't milk and ketchup.
That'd be just like mashed potatoes.
Crushed up potato chips in a bowl with ketchup, to me, the words hostage situation come to mind. Like, I'm picturing you're in a dank basement. There's a chain around one, if not both of your ankles. And that's just what the guy sends a bowl across the floor to you. Just eat this.
And you turn it down for the first 3 days, but then on day 4.
Eat it with your hands.
That's exactly right. Oh, my gosh.
Putting stewed tomatoes on pork. Well, that sounds okay. Spaghetti with a glass of chocolate milk.
Basically, everything's good with peanut butter. This text in, peanut butter and pastrami sandwich.
I'd try that.
I'd try it. I mean,
I'm going to stick with the good old Thousand Island dressing on my pastrami. Thank you very much.
Pastrami and Thousand. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, right. Reuben, right?
Yeah, that's
you got to put some sauerkraut on.
Absolutely. Pile it on there, my man.
I remember being very excited. I remember being very excited when I discovered that you just add, like in college, mac and cheese, instant spud flakes, all ramen noodles. I'm getting all that really easy to make stuff. And the difference, just one can of tuna added to anything. You know what I mean? Just mix it in there, or just chop up some hot dogs and ramen noodles with the chicken seasoning and hot dogs, or with tuna, or with anything. And it was just like, for a while there, I felt the best ever I came up with was instant spud flakes.
Yeah.
You'd get that Ore-Ida spud flakes, and you'd just have a bowl of mashed potatoes over in a matter of seconds, and then you just top that off with a whole can of chunky soup. And you wouldn't eat for 3 days. I mean, that'd get you through the weekend.
That's hearty.
Knock that thing out on a Friday afternoon, and it's Sunday before you're thinking about food again.
Beauteous.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. That was at a time when I'd go to Little Caesars, not for the pizza, but for the $1.04 bag of crazy bread.
Oh, the crazy bread.
Just eat
yes.
crazy bread. That'd be the meal. It's $1.04 for a bag of like 4 giant breadsticks and some marinara. Come on, man. Got yourself a stew. That's fantastic. Hey, the Stray Cats are coming August 9th to the Ledge Amphitheater. These Stray Cats, I saw them once. And they've never left my top 10 greatest live concert I ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, like the most shocking. They opened for Elvis Costello, and I was like, whatever. I want to see Elvis, and they literally blew the roof off the joint. Tremendous live band. They are at the Ledge Amphitheater August 9th. And Brian Zepp, we have tickets we want to give away.
We're not giving anything away. You got to earn them this morning. The most sinister of all games. Beat the Toaster. Tony's got the toaster all shined up, plugged in, ready to go. We just need 2 callers. 651-989-ROCK for those Stray Cat tickets. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck. And hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Monday, July 22nd. We are going to be playing a little game here in a few moments. We're going to need a second caller. We lost one. We want to play Beat the Toaster. We want to give you Stray Cats tickets. So we need another caller. 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. Get in. Play Beat the Toaster, win Stray Cats tickets. There are your marching orders. You marched yourself over to the Yacht Rock Festival on Saturday night, Zep.
I did. It was one of those rare occasions where we had both the Zep girls in one town together. They love themselves a music festival, and I love to go with them out to that kind of stuff anyway. Not that I don't love a music festival, but tip the cap to the Yacht Club Festival. Believe the first year they've tried this deal out there at Harriet Island. Got the right kind of weather. Harriet Island was in good shape. I was a little concerned giving all the flooding out there well into the summer, but it was in great shape, and I don't know how many tens of thousands of people showed up. One of the larger outdoor shows I've been to. Very orderly, well run. I understand they ran out of beer on Saturday night, but
that's what I hear.
I was over my limit, so so it didn't matter to me, but just well run. Everything went really great. I like the 2-stage, main stage effect. One literally would hit that last cymbal crash, and then the next stage would start, unless you were Gary Clark, of course. Then about the last 5 minutes of your set, they fired up the Chili Peppers. A little bleed over there. It happens.
Gary Clark Jr. is finishing his set on one stage, and right next door, the Chili Peppers started their set.
His big encore.
Really?
Yeah, he's laying it down over there. Gary Clark Jr., if you're not familiar, I highly recommend you get out to a Gary Clark Jr. show sometime. Yeah. But anyway, he's laying it down. He's doing his guitar thing up there. Last tune, I'm guessing. And the Chili Peppers just got off on timing there a little bit.
Wow.
They were on California time. He was on Midwest time. And but Offspring, everybody sounded fantastic out there. Good shows.
Was Soul Asylum on your day, or was that the other day?
I got out there a little late for Soul Asylum. They played a little earlier in the day. Would have loved to have seen the old Loud Fast Rules gang get after it again one more time. But, I got there right after they wrapped up. Yeah, so just missed them.
I guess the Chili Peppers just were not interested in violating curfew. They were like, we got 90 minutes. We're starting 90 minutes before the end of the night.
10:30 curfew over there in St. Paul, and they did get her shut down right at 10:30. Took her to the last minute, but the Chili Peppers just all the tunes and they lay it down. And
I read that right before the Chili Peppers set started, they officially ran out of beer, and it reminded me that there's a venue in Nashville, Tennessee, the Ryman. That's the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, legendary place, the Mother Church of country music, as they call it. It's about 2,200 people. It's an amazing venue to see a show in. It's really great to play. And with the Black Crowes, I played the Ryman a ton of times. And like every time we'd play, they would say, we just set the record for beer sold. and we were always like, awesome. And then a good friend of mine is a promoter who put a bunch of gigs in there, and then I heard her say the same thing to like 6 other people. I was like, so you just tell everybody that? She goes, yeah, pretty much. Everyone gets excited when they think their fans drank the most beer. Like, damn, I really thought that was us. Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, they do.
Did we get a second caller?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sure.
And so we are ready, if memory serves, to put on a little game show in order to give away these Stray Cats tickets. Tony, lay it on me.
We are ready to bring the fun. Oh, it's time to embrace the anxiety. It's time once again For Beat the Toaster, here's what we do. We pop a slice of bread into the toaster right here in the studio. We're going to give you a category, then you name as many things that pop into your head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops. Go ahead and beat the toaster.
I'm excited. Tony, what kind of bread are we toasting up today?
Today we have a lovely Sara Lee Light, only 45 calories a slice.
Good to know.
I can get more Velveeta in there then.
Yeah, I was going to say, just give me 4 slices then. That's fantastic. All right, so we're rocking this. We're ready to play Beat the Toaster. I'm ready to have fun. We're already. Who am I kidding? This is nothing but stress and anxiety inducing. If we're set to pop, who's caller number 1?
Number 1 should be our buddy Doug from Dayton.
Doug, good morning.
Was Doug online?
Good morning.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug, what's happening over in Dayton, brother?
Just chilling.
Just chilling. Are you ready to play Beat the Toaster?
Let's give it a shot.
All right, we're going to give it a shot. You give it a shot. Let's all give it a shot. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, my man, the Olympics, they're going to start on Friday. Go America. How about you name some Olympic events? Go.
Equestrian, diving, swimming, gymnastics, vault, iron cross, double bars, beam, floor exercise, rhythmic gymnastics.
All right, toast has popped.
Wow. Okay, so he went with gymnastics. Then he started going specifically down the gymnastics format. But these are individual events. They also, So let's see. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 or 9. What are we?
I got 9.
You got 9. Okay,
Yeah,
so we got 9.
Feel comfortable in that. No break dancing. That's in there this year.
That's right. We just talked about that the other night. That is in there?
That's I believe there was a one of those, what do they call it, demonstration events last Olympics, and they're going for the gold now.
Break dancing?
Yeah, that's right. Dust off the old moves
What is
there,
it,
80s boy.
1984? It's the last time anybody broke dance.
Breaking to Electric Boogaloo.
It takes it a while to get into the Olympic lexicon. Come on now.
Oh, my gosh. Break dance.
You don't think badminton just went, straight from the 1920s into the Olympics? It took a couple of decades.
I'm going to die on the hill of bring back the Tug-o-War, by God. That used to be in there. 4-man and 6-man Tug-o-War, and I want it back.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, I just saw a video the other day on Instagram Reel, and it was like 4 or 5 giant muscled men with a rope, and the rope went through some bars, and there was one lion with the rope in his mouth. And it was like effortlessly pulling these 4 giant muscle men, like no big deal.
Right.
Just one lion in a zoo. Like, you think you can pull me? Screw you.
It's wildlife strength.
Pretty awesome. All right, Doug got 9. That is a hell of a first round for Doug. Let's move on. I believe we have Colleen on the horn. Colleen, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Colleen. Thanks for calling in. Are you a Stray Cats fan?
Yes, I am.
And are you a
Ryan
toast?
Setzer is one of my favorites, actually.
He's pretty incredible. Are you a fan of toast?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank goodness.
And breakfast food.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, then you're in the right place. Good luck to you, Colleen.
Okay.
All right, Colleen, the dramas continue in politics. Name for us not past presidents, but past vice presidents. Go ahead.
Spiro Agnew, Rockefeller, Humphrey, Carter, Bush, Biden. Let's see. I think Lincoln.
Toast has popped.
Okay, Colleen, first of all, leading the charge with Spiro Agnew was not expected. Well done.
Strong.
I like that. As a Marylander myself, even though he's a criminal. Rockefeller, didn't expect to see Nelson D up there. Humphrey, Bush, Biden. I think you said Carter.
Yeah, Carter.
Jimmy was never a VP, unless there's another Carter in history I'm forgetting.
It was Ford that was the one I was thinking of that became president. Yeah.
I thought maybe you were thinking of Billy. He kind of felt like a VP there for a while.
No, that's beer.
Yeah.
So that was the beer. Yeah, you're right.
So I think we got 5 there, Colleen.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So Colleen with 5. shockingly, I found myself at a loss. The Olympic events I felt great about. VPs, now that the timer's not on, I could just go right back in straight line. But when you said it, Tony, I went,
yes, sir.
I don't think I could name one. No, I'm kidding.
All right, so, but round two is usually where we separate the wheat from the chaff. Let's get to it. Doug, are you ready for round two?
You bet.
All right, we do bet.
Let's go. Bring it, Dougie. You didn't show up for work. You can't say you had COVID. You can't even say you were sick. So what are some excuses you're going to use to explain your absence? Go.
My dog died. Migraine headache. Car won't start. Flat tire. Want to come to work today?
He got the best one in right after the bell, unfortunately.
I got the sense Doug was literally going down his personal Rolodex of memories. Let's see, what did I say? What have I used in the past? Dead dog, migraine, car doesn't start, flat tire. That's 4 I got.
Got 4.
All right, Doug, you have a grand total of 13, sir. Very well played. Let's move on to Colleen for round 2. Colleen, you got your work cut out for you, but it is well within your reach. You will need, let's see, 8 to tie. 9 will put you over the top. Best of luck to you, Colleen.
Okay.
Let's turn that radio down. All right.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right, you can do it. So you're in a barrel.
All right.
You're in a barrel, Colleen. You go over Niagara Falls. As you're going over the rushing water, thoughts go through your head of things you wish you would have done in your lifetime. What are they? Go.
Flown, gone to school, college, gone to eat out more often, movies, sex, drugs, rock and roll, been on stage, sang, went to the moon, went to the airport.
Oh, okay.
Colleen.
Hey, the bell rang, Colleen.
Colleen, your toast has popped.
If you could do me a favor, this is Zepp. If you could do me a favor, before you get into that barrel to go over Niagara Falls, give me a call. I think we can cross a couple of those off the list for you.
Whew. That's a strong list
wow.
right there, Colleen. I got 7, which I'm sorry to say is just
so
one
close.
short.
Winning a game on the KQ Morning Show is still on her list of things to do before she goes over the falls. And the barrel.
I was close.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, you certainly were ready to keep on rolling. If we'd had a couple more seconds, you would have been in there. Well played, Colleen. Just so short. That means Doug is our winner for the day. Doug, you've picked up a couple of tickets to see the Stray Cats August 9th at the Ledge Amphitheater. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
You got it, man.
Great. It's not a great show.
Yeah, you're going to have a good time there, brother. Best of luck, getting in and out without any drama. You'll have a fun time. Cheers. We were talking earlier on the KQ Morning Show about our food flexes, food quirks, weird things we've come up with. This is a text I just have to read. A screamin' concoction I made up while smoking Panama Red circa 1979.
I'm listening.
I like it already. Fritos corn chips dipped in chocolate frosting. Very addictive, and if you throw them at the car next to you in the 7-Eleven parking lot, you will laugh when they stick.
That's
yes, sir.
Very specific.
Yeah.
All right. I've if I find those two things in the house at the same time with a little Panama Red running through my bloodstream, look out.
Yeah. Frozen chunky peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Yeah. Peanut butter and bananas is just an absolute staple.
Yep.
A bowl of Kool-Aid with popcorn, like a bowl of cereal. Try it. I will not.
No.
Thank
First
you
of all,
for the recommendation.
popcorn gets really soggy really fast.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be Kool-Aid with chunks of stuff in it.
You would think. This is the second person referencing a bag of potato chips with ketchup. I guess because it's potato and you have French fries and ketchup, but the potato chips.
Yeah, it has to be the last two things in the house.
Yeah, man.
It's not, you're not going to barf it up. It's not disgusting to think about, but I feel like I can do better even with my, empty shelves.
Limited skills.
Yeah, limited skills and food.
You can hit us on the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK or the KQRS Facebook page. We're looking for your odd food quirks. Bring them on. So over the weekend, airports all around the country and airlines are still trying to make sense of the mess on Friday when thousands of flights were delayed, hundreds canceled. Southwest survived the Microsoft upgrade. Their service pretty much went on without a hitch. But what about all those exploding soft drink cans on Southwest? We'll investigate. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, July the 22nd, as MSP is still trying to rid the hallways of all the people who've been stuck there since Friday. Slowly but surely, the airlines are getting back to normal, I assume. That's what they're suggesting they are. But a whole lot of folks spent the whole weekend at the airport just waiting to get the hell wherever they were trying to get to. I got to think that the ripple effects from one day without flights, the way Friday was, it takes weeks to get everybody back to where they want to go. It's going to be a while before things feel like they're back to normal. Southwest Airlines didn't have a problem. They didn't have the same update issue that some of the airlines had, apparently. But they've got their own issues, like any airline, exploding soft drink cans. A phenomenon apparently just only Southwest.
They don't pressurize the cabins over
Only
in
Southwest is dealing with. Apparently 20 flight attendants have been injured this summer.
What?
Injured by exploding soda cans. Check this out.
Understand.
I don't know what the injuries themselves are, but at least 20 flight attendants, officials for the airline confirmed. They told the Washington Post at least 20 flight attendants have been injured by the erupting beverages since the start of this summer alone. They're aware of the issue. The company spokesman said, "We've begun taking steps to attempt to mitigate it."
What?
Attempt to mitigate. Those aren't the words I want to hear.
Why don't you do what everyone else is doing up there at 35,000 feet and their Coke cans aren't exploding? Whatever they're doing, just do that.
Well, here's what they think it may be. Southwest does not serve any perishable meals on their flights, meaning they don't use refrigerated trucks to bring beverages onto the aircraft as other carriers do. So when they're loading in the beverages, they are room temperature. Now, in a lot of your Southwest cities, Vegas, Phoenix, all throughout Texas, room temperature is about 110 degrees most days in the summer.
Right, or, the back seat of your car when you forget your 12-pack in there.
Exactly. They're loading up airplanes with hot cans of soda.
Well, there's the fix right there. What did you say that they're going to study and attempt to prevent?
They're going to attempt to mitigate the problem. Yeah, just put those bad boys on ice.
Yeah,
what
if you don't mind.
So it says soda cans are stored at various airports. They're just heating up, and then when you open one at 30,000 feet, it just goes. Again, I get that it doesn't explode as in shrapnel, but it just explodes the way if you shake up. When you're a kid and the first time someone throws you a can of Coke after they shook it up and you don't know better and you open it and you get a Coca-Cola shower. That's what's happening.
I don't want to disparage or suggest that flight attendants are more delicate than the rest of society, but did you say 20
flight
injuries?
Have
20 flight have been injured. Or someone trying to milk that whole, hurt on the job.
I guess so.
Issue.
Another great quote from the spokesman. For the safety of our employers and customers, we're taking education and mitigation measures on all heat-related hazards.
Who works in these departments where they have to type up this phony crap?
Yeah.
Can you just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we got it. We're on it. We figured it out.
It sounds like they had ChatGPT put it together.
Right.
It does. They are working to address the soda storage issues in Vegas, Phoenix, Dallas, and Houston. The company has also directed ground crews to measure the temperature of soda cans before loading them onto planes. Put them in an air-conditioned room. You just put them. You don't even have to ice them down. Just put them in some place with air conditioning.
Fares are going to skyrocket at Southwest now because they've had to chill their pop.
That's exactly right. Let's see. Did you want to upgrade to Business Select? And for one final, for an extra $39, you can sit near the cool soft drink cans.
I want to be sitting there on the flight when they come back to me and say that other flight attendant that I never get to see, that's just around, I guess. And hey, what happened to my flight attendant? Well, we had an issue. They've been injured trying to open up your ginger ale. You're feeling a little guilty. All right, yeah, I had no idea this was such a thing. Thank God they didn't, blow a door out.
It is absolutely
punch
nuts.
A hole in the fuselage with one of their warm Coca-Colas.
Here's another interesting story from the world of foodstuffs. Trader Joe's has a seasoning blend called Everything But the Bagel. Are you familiar with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it.
I've had it. It's great. It's literally it's what if you get an everything bagel. Yeah. It's got all the different toppings.
Oh,
this is a seasoning blend. So if you have say a plain bagel, you sprinkle this onto your cottage cheese. It tastes like an everything bagel all of a sudden.
Brilliant.
It's great. It's perfect. Everything but the bagel. It's a fine product unless, of course, you're trying to get it in South Korea, where it has now been banned because Everything But the Bagel seasoning blend, it has sesame seeds, salt, dried garlic, dried onion, and poppy seeds. And South Korea has poppy seeds on their list of restricted foods. And they are confiscating this Trader Joe's product at the Seoul Incheon International Airport in Seoul.
Yeah, pretty sure those poppy seeds have been toasted, would be my guess, as most seeds are before they're sold. That's why you like to eat them, gives them that little crunch. Probably not going to be able to plant those from the bagel seasoning and start, shooting up some heroin within the month.
One South Korean citizen returned from her honeymoon in the U.S., interviewed, said she was made to fill out a customs form declaring she had brought a narcotic item into the country after she was found carrying nuts coated with the bagel seasoning.
Oh, yeah. Well,
poppy seeds do not actually contain opium, but authorities fear they could be contaminated with opiates.
Yeah. South Korea, you're too close to North Korea. You're starting to pick up some of their goofy behavior up there, I think.
The poppy seed thing, it's really, I mean, what's next? You're going to be worried about vanilla extract? What is this? Are we in the prohibition again?
Right.
I need another hit of that vanilla extract, man. I got to get a buzz.
Yeah, what about that mouthwash? You got a little bit of alcohol in that mouthwash.
Apparently so.
All right.
It's there's always something. I do know this. I got held up on a flight we flew from not South Korea but from Japan. We were on our way from Tokyo to Miami, which is just no way to spend a couple of days. Layover in Seattle. Hit Seattle. That's where we had to clear customs and immigration. And as we were going through, at the time we were traveling, we had a couple backup singers, and one of the gals had a banana in her purse that she brought from her hotel room in Japan.
Contraband banana?
Contrabandana. The guy said, they said, did you bring any fruits or vegetables? And she had said I got this. And she showed the guy the banana. And what that then meant was all of us were pulled over and all of our stuff was searched and gone through because they wanted to make sure we weren't some sort of Japanese banana smuggling syndicate. It was not her best day on the road.
I bet she didn't feel great about it.
They say don't bring fruits and vegetables. Just leave it behind.
I know. Don't be saving the banana. Eat it on the spot. All right.
It was pretty weird. They didn't care at all that I had kangaroo chops with me. But, it was that banana that set them all sideways.
Snails smuggled into your underwear.
Exactly. 16 giant Japanese snails they didn't seem to care about, but it was that damn banana.
And besides, how can bananas, they're not invasive, we know, and they think it could be carrying some sort of banana. They literally sell bananas in every country on the planet, I think.
You would certainly think so. I'm not sure. I don't know what that was, but we mentioned earlier peanut butter goes well with a lot of things, banana especially. I have on a regular basis. I don't do the peanut butter and banana sandwich, but I just do a spoonful of peanut butter as I eat the banana. I just top it with peanut butter each bite. Big fan of that.
You and Elvis, sure.
Well, hang on. Now, he deep fried and added bacon.
Yes.
Now that's
put it on a stick and sell it at the fair.
Yeah, the deep fried peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich, which, as I say it now, sounds absolutely like heaven on earth.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the sweet sound of heaven coming to tap the king on the shoulder. Sorry, boss, you had one too many. You're coming with me now. On the KQ Talking text line, as we were discussing earlier, food quirks, things people like. Here's one. I like salad with French and blue cheese dressings. Okay, I can see that. I also did cherry Pepsi with hot chocolate. That one's throwing me. Cherry Pepsi in your hot chocolate? Or is it... Are you just taking the powdered hot chocolate and adding it to cherry Pepsi? I'm confused.
We don't know. We need to do more. Maybe with a little schnapps to finish that off.
A little bit of schnapps. Schnapps will top off pretty much anything.
Yep.
Yeah. As a kid, we got a treat of peanut butter with Caro corn syrup stirred in and put on bread.
That's very sweet.
So make it a little sweeter, sure. Sweeten up that peanut butter.
Oh, it's like makes my it's like when you smell something sour. That just did that to my face.
Too much sweet for Steve.
What do you call that reaction when your cheeks just involuntarily go,
Is that a pucker? It's a form of pucker, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that's reminds me of there was a kid's book named Lentil, about a kid named Lentil who saved the day because the marching band was coming through, and then there was some troublemaker who was sucking on a lemon, and it made everyone's mouths pucker, and they couldn't play their instruments, but then Lentil had a harmonica, and he saved the day. Am I the only person that ever read that book?
I'm pretty sure that was a dream, Steve.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm telling you, man.
It's on the road.
This kid Lentil, he and his harmonica saved the day.
All right. No, I believe you.
Yeah, by the way,
a good one.
I'm looking at the cover right now. I'm not making that up.
Now I'm looking it up myself. So was everyone else today.
There was another. There was another children's book I read, and it was about it was about kids all being in a rock fight, and I kid you not, the book was called "I'll Kill You Till You're Dead." What? And it was just like, and so we went to, and it was about kids like with their finger and thumb gun shooting each other, and then they're pretending to throw rocks. It was just. I just remember reading it as a kid, being like, "I'll kill you till you're dead." All right,
that's
cool.
right.
Did anyone die?
Don't you forget it.
I don't think so. It was supposed to be more like, we're just having fun. We're kids, and we're just.
Yeah, can we point our fingers and can we pretend throw rocks? I don't know. My mom would be the first one to say you pretend throw rocks and then you're throwing rocks. Of course, we never pretended. We actually threw rocks.
We had a lot of rock fights.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the story of the lottery?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's how they took out the person. They throw rocks at them.
Is it? It's an old biblical thing.
It's Shirley Jackson, The Lottery.
Yeah,
read that. Very haunting for sure.
All right.
Read that in probably 8th grade, and then looked around, and I was in a small southern town when I read it, and I was just kind of like, these people probably want to do this. They probably think this is a good idea.
Who would I stone?
Yeah,
kill someone till they're dead.
Drawing numbers. That was a weird one. But just as long as we're going on bizarre flashes from the brain, I had a dream. I woke up from a dream the other night, and in my dream, there was a song playing, and I thought I made this weird song up, but then I realized no, it's a song from the 70s, and it went, "Do you want to be in my gang?" Do you remember that song? Do you want to be in my gang, my gang, my gang? You want to be in my gang? Oh yeah,
kind of sounds
I'm
familiar.
the leader. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing, and I meant to Google it and find out, and I forgot. But now I'm thinking about it. It's it's a song by, this says Prince Harming. I don't know what that is.
They forget the C.
It was written by Gary Glitter of all people.
Oh,
wow, crazy.
Yeah, what's he up to?
The less
Doing
you
some
know about
time.
Gary Glitter, the better, I
I
think.
heard he was doing some time. I don't know.
Yeah.
They finally quit playing that in hockey games about 20 years after he molested his first kid.
Could have been. All right, so now that we've come back off onto the highway, how about this? How about this on the text line for weird food quirks? My grandmother tried to get me to eat peanut butter, lettuce, and mayonnaise sandwich for years. Peanut butter, or no, it doesn't say sandwich. It just says peanut butter, lettuce, and mayonnaise. I told her I couldn't do it. She said, try it once. I'll never ask you again. Turns out I love it.
I eat peanut butter and lettuce. That's good. No mayo.
But mayo
Yeah.
on
The
peanut
mayo
butter
and peanut butter. Remember the marshmallow cream stuff with the peanut butter?
Fluffer Nutter.
Yeah, the fluffer nutter. Oh, yeah, that stuff was good, but not the mayo. Did Grandma just mistake it for them? All right, but this person claims that a lettuce wrap with peanut butter and mayo. I don't know. I'm going to pass on that.
I'm going to pass. I'll watch anybody try it, but that's not really for me. I'm just going to hear and tell you that. Hey, this is important. Listen up. It's last call for Rock the Boat 80s cruise tickets. It's this Friday.
There are literally 7 left.
Ho!
Lucky number 7.
Lucky 7 left. Stillwater Riverboats featuring live music from Rough House Rocks, drinks with the KQ crew. Hey, that's us. And free food. As you just heard, okay, when the show started, we had 24 tickets. Now we have 7.
Yeah.
Go to 92kqrs.com and get one of the last 7 tickets to join us this Friday night. Sponsored by Huffman Weber Construction.
Holy crap, it's like surreal.
Yeah, that is, man. Holy smokes. All right, let's reset the morning. The top 5 at 9. How about that? Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Monday morning, July 22nd. Among the many things we have been discussing today, we're talking about your food quirks, weird things you like. You don't have to justify it. Just let us know what they are on the KQ Talk and Text line 651-989-ROCK. We have a ton of submissions like this one, a warm caramel roll with a slice of American cheese. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, it works.
I can see it.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I've seen people do that with pancakes and French toast and, I mean, the cheese.
This text in peanut butter Miracle Whip on toast. Okay, peanut butter with Miracle Whip. This same person a while back texted some photos of their Hot Wheel collection, which I didn't see in real time. Good God Almighty, I have a new hero. Thanks for that text from last summer, which I'm just now seeing on this list. How about this? Vanilla ice cream with a light sprinkle of finely ground black pepper. It's delicious.
Okay.
I would try that.
Yeah, I could see
that
it.
sounds great.
Yeah. That's kind of like,
Does it make it better?
There's sometimes you'll see like a jelly with a hot pepper in it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's
I like
always
that
good.
with a little salmon and some cream cheese.
Sweet and heat. Yeah.
Jalapeno jam.
I'm digging that, man. I already mentioned this briefly last segment, but I'm going to go back to it with all the attention now. Plain potato chips with radishes. Radishes and chips. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
if you say so.
Sure. I mean, that doesn't. I like me some radishes. I remember, being a kid. Of course, we grew up on the farm, and Mom had radishes in the farm because you can literally grow radishes on a gravel road if you want to. So we had lots of radishes. But yeah, so I just eat those suckers. Just rinse them off right out of the ground. Been a while since I've just chomped down on a radish.
Well, grab a potato chip and get busy.
All right.
How about this? How about the top 5 at 9? The top things you need to know to get your day off on the right foot. The top 5 at 9. Number 1, the Summer Olympics kicking off this Friday au Paris in Paris, France.
Yeah.
For the first time, the 2024 Summer Olympics will include the sport of breaking. Now, when you say we're going to have a sport called breaking, I think it's just going to be competitive arm breaking or leg breaking. No.
Break something.
It's also called b-boying, b-girling, or more commonly, break dancing as an Olympic event.
What about the Charleston? They're not bringing the Charleston in on this one?
Anybody can do the Charleston. It takes skills to be a break dancer.
I don't have the knees for the Charleston anymore, but good old break dancing.
I'm curious on the judges. Who's going to be the judges?
You have to, win some competitions to get there, or is it just the first person that shows up? All right, you're on the breakdancing
I'm not really sure.
team.
I know this. Doing the Charleston to me means eating barbecue and getting drunk in South Carolina, which I've had a lot of fun doing that there.
I feel like I could make the Olympics on that team.
Breakdancing, yeah, I mean, again, it just goes to show. I mean, I was going to say, it's obviously judged,
Obviously,
I would imagine.
one of these
It's the only way to figure this out. It's the international organizing body is the World Dance Sport Federation.
You could probably do steroids if you're breakdancing, can't you? They don't test for that in breakdancing. It might work against you.
I would hope not.
Might work with your limber moves, work against it, rather.
This is all just too weird. But if you're going to bring breakdancing into the Olympics, can we bring back a few of the events that we've long been missing? I mentioned this earlier in the show.
Yeah.
1900 all the way through to 1920, there was a little something called the Tug-o-War.
Yeah.
In the Summer Olympics. I thought it was too different. Must have been confusing it with bobsledding or something. It was just teams of 8. That's what it was. You had 5 minutes and you had to pull your opponents 6 feet over a line. 8 guys on one end, 8 guys on the other, and you got to pull the other guys 8 feet. I would love to watch competitive tug-of-war. I would totally dig in and enjoy it.
I think, me too, but there has to be one rule: no falling down. I mean, you can't. You remember when the old superstars?
Yeah, sure.
The superstars,
The Battle of the Superstars.
Yep.
And the best one for me wasn't when all the celebrities were in it. It was when the NFL champion Super Bowl winners would take on the World Series winners.
Right.
And I remember one year was the Dallas Cowboys versus the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
And they would just do, and then the Reds got one. They went by weight, so the Reds had one more player, and they beat the Cowboys. It was pretty wild, I'm telling you. But anyway, they would just one team would just fall backward and get that lurch with the rope, and then just dig in, and then nothing would happen for the next several minutes. So if they just had to sit there and tug, no falling down, anyway.
I competed in a tug-of-war in college, an intramural competition, dorm versus dorm, and there was a team of guys who exactly knew what to do, which is you're in sync and you're coordinated and you practiced, and then there was the group of guys I was on a rope with, and that tug-of-war lasted like 11 seconds, and it was just the other guys 2 times going, and then we were like, we're halfway dead, and then we're all
Did you guys all topple on top of each other?
Literally like a bad after school special.
Nice.
It's like, so there's actually strategy to this. Okay, cool, good to know.
You gotta have something good in the pit that you fall into if you lose.
Like gators, or what are you talking
Acid.
about?
Like hummus.
Hummus. Alligator. It's the alligator hummus pit. It's a really weird mashup. By the way, also at the 1900 Olympics, I should say also in Paris. Paris hosted the Summer Games in 1900. They also had croquet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were 4 categories of croquet. France went 4 for 4 in the gold. All of the events had 1 spectator. Even in 1900, people were like, that's just boring as hell.
The home team wins the gold, and you muster more than one mom at the event to show up. And
how about this? 5 Olympic Games from 1896 to 1932 had rope climbing. 49-foot rope. Get up that rope. I mean, that's impressive right there.
I would like to watch that. I mean, locally, just down at one of the American Legions, watch a bunch of good old boys try and get up a rope.
Another great event from the Paris Olympics in 1900, underwater swimming. Only appearance ever, Paris 1900. Competitors swam below the surface of the River Seine for up to 60 meters, gaining points for each meter covered and every second submerged. So if you went longer and took more time to get there, you got a higher score. Every second underwater was better for you. I watched my brother Tom stand on the deck of a pool. It was a 25-yard pool, and he had a Marlboro Red in his mouth, and he took a giant hit off a cigarette with lungs full of smoke, dove in, swam the length of the pool, kicked off, and swam back.
What?
2 lengths underwater, and when he came up, he exhaled a huge lung of smoke.
What a man.
By the way, to the rampant applause of all the children gathered nearby. The 70s were a different time.
Future smokers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, those nice pink lungs he was sporting back then.
Oh, heck yeah. I was like, man, I'm going to be just like him. I'm going to have a van, and I'm going to play guitar, and I'm going to smoke Marlboro Reds. This is going to be great.
Oh, here's one that would really, I think, stoke television ratings. The Olympics always looking for television ratings. That's probably why you have breakdancing in there. And they're now considering e-games. That's right, video games. How about bringing this one back? Chorus singing.
That's a real thing?
For more than 35 years, the arts were Olympic events thanks to Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympic Games. Yeah, 1912 games.
Chorus singing.
Through 1948 in London, chorus singing at the Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's the best one here I see is running deer shooting. I just got a lot of attention out there. Guys are going, what? Yeah, running deer shooting. Sadly, or they say here, fortunately, it did not involve live deer. Cutouts of deer, but you had to run and shoot, yeah.
Well, they have the snowshoeing and archery combo.
Well, yeah, and the biathlon, you know, do some shooting there. But
weird.
I just thought some, deer and people just running around in the woods shooting it up. That was at the 1908 games in London. They did that.
Here's a couple that give me pause. And
All
again, these both happen to go back to Paris, 1900. Long jump for horses. Belgian guy named Constant van Langerdonk.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Constant van Langendonk, which is had a horse named Extra Dry, and they leapt 6.10 meters, which is that's 19 feet.
It's a pretty good hop.
That's a pretty good hop. Last I checked, horses break legs real easy.
Yeah.
But even worse than that, at the same Paris 1900 was lit. How about this? The horse high jump. Not the long jump, the high jump.
Oh my God.
There was a tie for first place, a guy from France and a guy from Italy. Their horses leapt 1.85 meters over a horizontal pole. I am really glad I didn't see either of those events. I would just be that'd be too stressful.
I think that would be impressive if they did that flop. What's that flop called?
Fosbury flop.
Yeah, if the horse did the Fosbury flop.
Fantastic. All right. So anyway, the Olympics kick off Friday, and none of the awesome crap we were just talking about will be featured. So why would I even tune in? Number 4 on your top 5 at 9, Bruce Springsteen. Hey, good job, Bruce. You're now a billionaire, according to Forbes magazine. Bruce Springsteen, as you said, Zepp, voice of the working class, is a billionaire. I don't think this is recent. I don't think this just happened.
Right?
My man's been just printing money since 1984.
How much did he sell that catalog for?
Half a bill.
Half a bill.
That was half a bill.
Yeah, he already had to have a half a bill in the bank when that came around. So, all right, well, there he is.
And if you poorly invest half a bill, you're still making tens of millions a year just in interest, and that's been 3 years, and so he's doing just fine.
Still couldn't afford to get his daughter back into the Olympics.
Just wrote the check to the wrong people, apparently.
Right.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. Let's hear it for Joe Mauer, St. Paul native, Twins catcher, Twins legend. A man who is not only in the Hall of Fame now, but went in, as you know, on the first ballot, which anytime anybody goes in on the first ballot, that's great. Not too many catchers can say they've done that. Joe Mauer, I loved on my Twitter feed, there's a lot of sports people from all across the country. Everybody here knows the legend of Local Joe, but that was something that other people were commenting on, just sort of hitting everyone's radar, like yet again of, oh my God, this is a storybook career for a local kid. Played his entire professional career in Minnesota. One team, in and out, 15 years, bang, first ballot Hall of Famer. Congrats to Joe Mauer. We've got a little bit of his induction speech for you.
A kid is born in St. Paul, Minnesota, grows up in a sports-loving family, and is great at everything. The best athlete I've ever seen. In basketball, he's named All-State twice. In football, he's the Gatorade National Player of the Year. He commits to play quarterback for the legendary Bobby Bowden at Florida State and turns him down because baseball is his first love. He's so talented that he strikes out once in 4 years of high school baseball. He's picked first overall in the 2001 MLB draft by the team that he followed his entire life. And Joe, that's only your first chapter. You were 8 years old when the Twins won the 1991 World Series.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Your family had 4 tickets to Game 6, but you didn't get to go. That's what happens when you're the youngest of 3 boys. In the end, that was okay, because you earned the best seat in the house for 15 brilliant Major League seasons. Every day of them in a Twins uniform.
And we love you, Joe Mauer.
Your parents and your grandparents made the short drive to watch you play.
Even at the end of my career, as my grandpa's eyesight was failing, he would stand right next to his TV in a batting stance and go through my every at-bat as if he was swinging alongside me. I hope they are both looking down this afternoon with pride, knowing that all their time and hard work helped me get to this podium.
Justin Morneau, by the way, with the intro video there. We played just a clip of that. And you're right, Joe Mauer, I think a lot of people surprised because he so quietly went about his business. Very workmanlike, never talked about himself. In fact, the speech, I was trying to get some highlights from, about 15 minutes long, which is about 10 minutes shorter than everyone else's. But Justin Morneau with a clip of that, great. You can find his whole speech and Justin Morneau's video there. There's more to it. But congratulations, Joe. Certainly one of the greats of all time and at the very top of Minnesota greats.
4 years of high school baseball, 1 strikeout, and you know that pitcher is still talking about it. Probably mentioned it. He's probably already mentioned it today.
Yeah.
Did you see the Hall of Fame yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you see the guy who went in? Yeah, I struck him out.
He's sitting over there at Schuler's already this morning having a beer going, I'm the guy. I struck out Joe.
Mauer was probably a freshman, and this guy was a 5th-year senior. But, hey, don't let that bother you. That's like, I was 19. Don't tell anybody. Warren Haynes, the great guitarist of Government Mule and Allman Brothers and a million other projects. Warren Haynes, like a top-shelf guitar player for any generation, struck out Cal Ripken in high school. That's one of his many claims. Like, oh, hey, by the way, great job being one of the world's great guitarists. Oh, and in Babe Ruth baseball, you struck out Cal Ripken Jr.
Pretty good.
It's pretty strong right there. All right, congrats, Joe Mauer, and congrats to that drunk dude that struck him out once in high school. Number 2 on the top 5 at 9, airlines are still working to recover from the global IT outage on Friday. Delta was hit especially hard. That's what you get for having all the latest tech updates, Delta, you and your computers. A lot of people saying Southwest wasn't in trouble because they're still using Windows 95 or something.
They're not even chilling their soda cans.
They don't even chill their soda cans, for God's sakes. You're right. More than 1,000 Delta flights were canceled on Saturday all across the country. MSP Airport still with a lot of folks sitting around hoping to get out today. They've been there. This is now full day 3 waiting to go. Pretty rough, man. 3,500 flights since Friday between Delta and Endeavor. That's a regional airline that they own. That's more than all the rest of the U.S. airlines combined. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Little Delta refugee camps, or what they're calling the pockets of folks in the airport just waiting to get the hell on out of here. And then finally on your top 5 at 9, number 1, Joseph Biden, President of the United States, will no longer be seeking re-election. He will step down as of January, when someone new is sworn in. And he put all of his weight. He has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him on the ballot. The Democratic National Convention in Chicago, for the first time since 1968, now looks to be somewhat interesting.
Yeah, well, I
hope it's not as interesting as 68, because, boy, that was
As far as presidential elections, no kidding, the 68 in Chicago, back to the scene of the crimes. But as far as presidential elections go, as far as reality television series go, they're doing a lot to keep you interested in this one.
Season, I keep seeing people say, man, this last season of The Americans is lit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Here's something that's going to happen in November that's kind of awesome. Billy Joel and Sting are going to share the stage for one night in Las Vegas. You can score a trip for 2 that includes round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, and tickets to the show at Allegiant Stadium. Text the national keyword Billy to 95819 to enter for a chance to win. National keyword Billy. Text it right now, 95819, for your chance to see Billy Joel and Sting in Las Vegas.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Rolling Stones, at least on that day in the studio. My God, what a fantastic turn that was. Bobby Keys, the great saxophonist for the Rolling Stones, blasting his way through that entire outro coda of Can't You Hear Me Knocking. Just puts me in a good mood to hear that music.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
So good.
The Rolling Stones finished the Hackney Diamonds tour last night, the 20th and final North American show in, of all places, last night, Ridgedale, Missouri, which I had to look up on the map, and it is right on the Missouri-Arkansas border. It is there's nothing there, but apparently they played a show.
Not a big music festival of some sort, perhaps?
It was just the Stones turned up in Ridgedale and played a gig. Figure.
They will do that on the front end of a tour when they're still going through some of that rehearsing stuff and they make their big announcement, right? They'll show up and do a couple of nights at a club somewhere or something like that. But to wrap up the big tour out in Ridgedale.
Mick Jagger, after the gig on Instagram, or Twitter, I should say, or X, whatever the hell it's called, he said, "Thanks to everyone who came out and saw us on this tour. We had a blast. See you soon." I don't know if that means the Stones will be back soon, or he will be, or if it means anything, maybe he's just saying that. There's no word right now on what the Stones are going to do next. But assuming that they've got enough Advil, they'll just be back on the road. That's what they do. I saw the Stones the first time in 1989 on the Steel Wheels tour, and that was 20 years. At that time, it was 20 years since journalists were saying, "Is this the last tour?" I mean, Mick Jagger always said they came to the States in 1969, and everywhere they went, people said, "Do you think this is your last tour?" In 1969.
Yeah.
I first saw them 20 years after that, and that was 35 years ago. My math tells me they're old and still just doing it. It's incredible to think that they're still out there.
I saw a video recently, just in the last week, of it was a young lady that had recorded him. Mick Jagger likes to go out to the clubs. There's all sorts of pictures through all the decades of Mick Jagger just showing up. I believe it happened over in St. Paul at a bar when they played here one time. Someone said, "Oh my God, it was Mick Jagger." They took a picture of their friend, and Mick Jagger was standing behind them having a beer. They're like, "Oh my, it's freaking." But yeah, recently, and she sent a video to her dad, and she said, "I'm supposed to send you a video of this guy dancing at the club here tonight because they said he's famous and you might know him. His name's Nick Jagger."
Nick?
Yeah. But I mean, he was making moves. He could have been in the break dancing Olympic. In Paris next week.
Is that our entry? Is that our superstar for the breakdancing Olympics? Is Mick Jagger?
Wouldn't that be cool? I'd be interested enough to watch that. But he was making moves that I literally could not and cannot do this morning.
No, don't even try.
No.
For any frontman in a rock band, I mean, if you're at any age, if you're a spry mid-50s guy right now, if you're in your 30s, he's 80 or 81.
Yeah.
And just pull up any YouTube clip from this last tour, nothing's changed. And you know what's changed about Mick Jagger? He's a better singer now than he's ever been.
It sounds like it on Hackney Diamonds.
He sings live. I've watched some live clips. He sounds amazing. It makes no sense.
I've never been one of those screamers, right? He's never one of those guys that had to blow out his voice like, say, a Steven Tyler or something like that. They just really, and he was
always a stylist. I mean, he always turns things around. He talked, but now he's just absolutely. It's astounding. I mean, I don't think anybody would have ever thought a band could go out and play stadiums and still perform at that age with what's required. I mean, the rest of the guys are not. I mean, even Woody, who's in good shape, they're standing pretty still. They're not moving around like they used to at all. Mick hasn't slowed down a bit.
I'm convinced, and I'm probably wrong on this, but I'm convinced last time I saw the Stones, which was the time before they were here this last time, so I forget when it was, 17 maybe, I'm going to guess. When they're over here, it's no longer TCF Bank Stadium. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Keith fell asleep up on stage. You know how he just kind of stands there with his head down, bobbing a little bit? He quit bobbing for a good 30 seconds. I think he might have checked out. Just
like
for
a horse,
second.
he could fall asleep standing up.
No, probably.
He's a workhorse if nothing else.
I mean, who thought he'd still be here?
And he certainly used to shoot horse, as they say.
He fell asleep in a coconut tree and fell out of that, apparently, or something.
Very true. All very true. Can't You Hear Me Knocking from Sticky Fingers. That's as good as rock and roll music ever got in my mind, but it begs the question. I'm just going to switch gears quickly. If you're in the bathroom and someone knocks on the door, what do you say?
Occupied.
That's your word? Occupied.
Just blurt it out. It's just first thing that came to my mind. I always go, occupied.
Okay. Because and I'm asking because I'm just looking at this. Somebody was curious. What's the appropriate thing to say? Occupied is number 2.
Okay.
On the list. The most popular answer was saying simply someone's in here, as opposed to like naming yourself. I might start doing that. Steve Gorman. Just say your name really loud.
Where's my drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about nothing? Do people say it? Because you get that, it's locked, and then you give it that second, like someone's going to say occupied, and then they don't say anything. And then you think, well, are you?
Oh, that's me.
I'm not going to stoop down and look for shoes. I'm not doing that in the bathroom.
If I'm 100% confident that the door is locked and they cannot get in, I will not say anything because I'm weird about talking in the bathroom, which is real hard being a woman because everybody wants to friggin' talk in the bathroom. Yes.
That's funny.
That's...
Man.
Yeah.
I'm just making animal noise.
What are you talking?
Well, so you mean not talking in the bathroom, just like by the sink area? You don't mean while everyone's in the stalls, really?
You don't know this about being in a woman's public bathroom is they want to chat like while people are in the stalls doing their stuff.
I had no idea, Steve. You didn't know that?
Do not
Who had the lamb Rogan Josh? What are you talking about?
Are those toeless sandals? Where did you get those?
Yes, that's
Love
exactly
them.
like
Wonderful.
that.
Yeah,
It's awful.
Yeah, I had no idea. But that's because your bathrooms are too nice.
I got to spend more time in a public women's bathroom.
Just stroll in.
I think I mentioned the only time I've been in one lately was when I walked off a plane really late at night and kind of drunk and walked right into at the Nashville airport. This is 5 years ago.
Sure.
And I just walked right into the restroom and I was like, wow, why is it all stalls? And I was midway through taking a leak and I went, oh my God, I'm in the women's. There was no one else in there, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I just walked right out feeling like a complete idiot. Got some stairs when I walked
Coming
back
out.
into the concourse. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all clean in there. Good to go. Well, what do you say when the door is
I go, yeah.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
Make a noise.
Just a quick, yeah. Burp, 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 burp. Check this out. Apparently, I don't know if this is true. In Japan, you're supposed to knock back. Someone knocks, and then you knock back.
That makes sense.
I could do that.
You don't have to chat.
I'm pretty sure you're sending a sexual signal in America when you do that. Knock back like, yeah, I hear you knocking.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Uh-huh. Meet you under the stall.
This is actually, someone said their line is, come back with a warrant.
Got a name, cop?
Yeah. That's pretty good, actually. Or just finishing up the paperwork. That's also a good one.
Just give them a good grunt. A good...
Almost done. I'll be out in a minute. I'm in here. Just standard stuff. If I go to the door and if the person doesn't say anything, I do double check to make sure that it's actually locked.
Yeah.
I'll think maybe you just got to jiggle it. Maybe it's weird. Now that we're talking about it, I'm self-conscious for the next time I'm approaching a door and it doesn't immediately open.
All right, public bathroom etiquette while we're on the topic. So I got into a little tiff with someone recently about this. You go into the public bathroom there and you have to do a sitter and all the stalls are busy except for the handicap stall. Do you use it?
If as they say, if you're touching cloth, get in there and take care of business.
Yeah, right.
If it's an emergency, get it done.
It was at an airport only a couple of weeks ago, and I came out, and that was the only one available, and there was no gopher head poking out, however. But I did go. I'm like, all right, I'll go in and use that. And I came out, and a guy who was not handicapped said, "That's a handicapped stall," and I said, What, they can't wait in lines like we can?
Oh, boy.
I don't treat handicapped people special. I don't single them out. If I can sit there and wait in a line for a crapper, so can they.
Right.
And I don't know why I said that, but I was like, well, there isn't one here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have finished it. If there's someone had said, hey, I'm handicapped, I need the stall, I probably would have pinched it off and wait. No, I'm just saying. I was just wondering if other people just do that.
I have definitely, now that I'm thinking about it, I have definitely gone into a handicap stall. I mean, quickly, I'm not in there, I'm not pulling out a paperback and trying to catch up. I forgot, how did Madame Bovary end? I mean, it's not like I'm going to take extra time, but it's like I'm going to
get in there, get her done.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is like if there's not someone waiting for it right then, and you got to go, you got to catch the flight, you got to do this, and nature is calling. There's often times when I don't feel like I have an option. You got to take care of business.
Yep. I don't like lingering in the bathroom any longer than I have to.
The Sony Discman. Remember that, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, sure.
An upgrade from the Walkman, which was a radio and a cassette player. Then the Sony Discman was pretty great.
Yes, sir.
The company now has reimagined the old portable CD player, and they're going to be releasing the DM13. It's a new version of the Discman, if you will. It plays compact discs one at a time.
All right.
But they're saying the difference now is you don't need wired headphones. It has high-fidelity wireless. And best of all, you don't have to keep changing out your AA batteries. It has a built-in rechargeable batteries, 8 hours of playback per charge.
Okay, great.
Okay, but again...
But is it still going to skip?
Right, the skipping.
Will it skip? And also... I guess if there's no internet service or no cell service, fine. But whatever I want to listen to, I can just find it on my phone, right?
Yeah, you don't have to dress it up really.
Why do I want to carry around CDs?
No, you don't want to carry around CDs because you don't have to anymore. And if you've got the old CD collection laying around and you want to, keep that component plugged into the old stereo console stack there, that I get. But just going back to the Discman feels like you're trying too hard. Maybe you're doing a back to the 90s party out on the boat cruise with us. If we get around to that, then go ahead and bring your Sony Discman. That and the other thing is I saw recently at a record store a digital record player with little digital speakers. All right, so you plug it in back of the turntable with your USB cord. You can plug your phone into it. You can plug these little digital speakers into it. And I thought to myself, why the hell did you buy vinyl?
Yeah, right.
Why did you get a record? I mean, it's analog, baby. That's the whole format. That's the process. That's supposedly what you're supposed to be digging. If you made it digital, just download the MP3 player and leave the hardware at home.
Yeah, I used
MP3, that is.
Early 90s, traveling at that time nonstop, literally 11 and a half months a year, pretty much on the bounce.
Yeah.
And I had a Discman, and I would carry on a shoulder bag of CDs. And it was like it held 36 or 48 CDs.
Sure.
And that thing gets heavy. Like you don't realize when you're stacking and put them all in there. But I'd be on a plane, and I'd have it in the overhead, and you'd have to get up and grab some more. But, the idea of you got the jewel case and you got the CDs and then you got the bag and what a pain in the ass. I mean, and at the time I thought it was amazing because the option is carry a turntable and albums. No, I got CDs and it was great. I left that thing on a plane once. I flew from Amsterdam to London, quick flight, landed. It was evening, and I got off the flight at Heathrow Airport and walked all the way to where you go to like immigration, which is like a mile, literally. And I got there and I went, oh my God, I left my CDs on the plane. And I turned around and I ran all the way back to the gate. And by the time I got there, the plane was gone. It had already moved for the night where it was going. I couldn't believe it. I got to go all the way back to immigration. And then when I'm clearing through, I go to it was on KLM, the Dutch airline. Yeah. I got to go to their baggage control thing. And when I get to, I get through immigration, go to get my suitcase. And I walk in there, I said, I was on this flight, and I left a CD case, and this was my seat number, and it was in the overhead above me. And they're like, okay, all right. And they're like, and I said, and I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm flying to the States. And they're like, okay, we'll get it for you. And I'm like, yeah, but I went back to the gate. The plane's already gone, and it's probably flying back to Amsterdam. They said, no, that plane is staying overnight. It just isn't at the gate.
Oh.
We'll find it, and we'll either get it to you. We'll get it to your hotel, or when you come back tomorrow. I go, but tomorrow I'm flying out of Gatwick, and the guy goes, okay, we'll get it to Gatwick. He's just looking at me like, this is not going to be a problem.
You kind of feel like they're just telling you what you want to hear, so they get rid of you.
And I was just getting angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
Like, you're just this nice, friendly Dutch guy, and you're just patting me on the head and saying, stupid traveler. I'm so mad. I get through immigration, clear customs, get into the van. We drive to the hotel. I get into the front desk, get my key, go up, open the door to my hotel, and the CD case is on the bed.
Son of a gun.
It beat me to my own hotel and was in my room. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Thanks. Nice work there, guys. Somebody got it, and they put that on some dude who was clearly on a motorcycle and could avoid London traffic. And that bad boy was not only at the hotel, it was in my room before I got there.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it gets done right.
You guys just bought yourself the rest of my life with bad service because you got that one right.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was nuts. All right, let's look back. All right, how about this? Kari Castle. In 1991 on this day, she was 31 years old, and she loved to, she was a hang glider. She liked to go hang glide. She was just actually learning about hang gliding. She has since gone on and continued to be a professional hang glider. Very early in that status and very early in her path, she had quite a ride. Way before she was ready for anything like this, she took off in the Sierra Nevada mountains, caught repeated gusts of hot, light air, and of course, she's dangling in a harness from the tiny little craft's underside. She landed finally 210 miles away from where she took off 8 hours and 20 minutes later.
Holy cow.
Novice hang glider was up in the air for 8.5 hours, and at one point went over 16,000 feet high.
Oh, wow.
That is, boy, I can't even begin to imagine all the things that go through your mind for 8 hours and 20 minutes. But I love the idea of her landing in 1991, 210 miles away. There's no way she had any idea, probably at that point, even what direction she was facing.
No.
She ended up in Austin, Nevada, but you could have put a circle on a map 210 miles away, and in any direction, she would have believed you if you'd said that's where she was.
I got it. So if you went up here in Minneapolis, you wouldn't come down until you were in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Out there in the west, if you went west.
Yeah, 8 hours later. Unbelievable.
Need a ride.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.